Today I'm testing out another soap recipe, so I've got my oils and my lye cooling there, and we'll soon be adding them together and seeing if this works out. I was a little apprehensive about this recipe because I'm trying out a lilac fragrance and I had heard that they're notorious for accelerating things. So we're going to keep this to one colour, and I'm just adding my oils to my bucket now, and what I'm going to do is add in basically everything to the oils prior to adding the lye, just to make sure I've got the best chance of working time. I'm also working fairly cool, as close to room temperature as I can. That's my kaolin going in, and we're going to stick blend that to incorporate it. And yes, I know this has kicked up a load of bubbles because I've moved it around loads, but don't worry, these are just testing fragrances and they do disperse after a while. So I'm just mixing that up, making sure all the kaolin is combined with the oil, and then I am adding my colour, which is a combination of mica and some titanium dioxide, oil soluble, because I want it to make a kind of pastel purple colour to match the lilac fragrance. So I'm just going to blend that round so that's all incorporated with the oil as well, and that looks about the colour I'm looking for. This will lighten as it cures, I expect, so we'll see how that goes. And then I basically want to add my fragrance oil and just make sure that's as incorporated as it can be before I add my lye. I'm just going to do that with a whisk to start with, because I don't want to accelerate anything when the lye gets added. The lye is a combination of obviously sodium hydroxide, water, and then I've got sugar and citric acid in there as well. The sugar enhances the bubbles in the soap, and the citric helps to prevent soap scum, and I've had a lot of good success with this recipe, so I'm really pleased with it. So now I am going to stick blend a little bit. And here is where I was really pleasantly surprised, because it wasn't accelerating on me. In fact, it was probably the most well-behaved soap I've ever had. I don't know if that's because of the citric. I have heard that it does sort of decrease acceleration, but then I'd heard that lilac and sugar made it accelerate, so wasn't really sure what to expect, but this has turned out really, really lovely. And then this is where I completely failed to show the pour, but don't worry, I will on the next soap. So that poured in really, really lovely, and then I just tapped the mould on the counter to make sure that any air bubbles had gone, and scraped out the bucket to get every last bit of soap. But this performed really, really nice, so I've got very high hopes for how this comes out. So we'll check on this tomorrow, but for now, this is what it looks like. First poured, I'm going to do a bit of texturing on the top, and then I'm going to move on to my next soap, which is sort of an orange fragrance blend that I've come up with. The next soap I'm making today is exactly the same recipe, but I'm adding a different fragrance blend into it. And the mould I've got is my normal bigger mould. The lilac soap you saw me do went in my small mould because I've only got a couple at the moment. So this won't come up to the top because I'm using the same amount. I don't like wasting too much of my ingredients when I'm testing fragrances, because you never know how they're going to behave. Sometimes I'll do tiny little portions of them, but it's really hard to mix the fragrance in well, and I don't feel that you get a true sort of representation of it, so I prefer to do like a little loaf like this. So there you saw me add my kaolin again to the oil, and then my colour blend, and mix it up, and then my fragrance, and we'll give that a mix round. And then we'll add our lye, which again contains the sugar and the citric. And again, another really well-behaved fragrance oil. Can't believe my luck today. So I carried on stirring this, and this was an even thinner solution, so it's, you know, it was taking ages to thicken up. So yeah, really pleased with this blend. Yeah, I think if this works, hopefully it'll go on my line. I'm just hoping that these fragrances survive saponification, because often I'll try a fragrance, and as in, you know, in the UK we're only allowed up to 3%, which is fine for some fragrances, but for a lot of them it's just not strong enough to survive, and your soap will end up just smelling of soap or smelling of nothing at the end. But I really love these fragrances, so I've got high hopes, and I really hope that they come through at the end, so we'll see. Remember to record the pour for this one, so there you go. You can see how fluid that batter is. So I actually had to wait quite a long time before I could texture the top. But yeah, really pleased with these so far. So I decided not to overcomplicate things, and I'm literally just texturing the top with a spoon just for a little bit so it's not completely flat. And then this is what it looks like. Bad lighting, sorry. And then these are the two finished soaps. And here we go, skip to the next day, and this is the lilac soap all cured, not cured, set. And we're just going to get this out the mould, and then we'll use a soap cutter to see what the bars are like. This could possibly have been left a little bit longer, but I was being impatient because it is slightly sticky, so I'd probably leave it just a little bit longer before cutting next time, but it's fine. And the smell has come through really well so far, so I just hope after the cure it stays. But that slices through like butter, it's beautiful. This is the Soap Cutter Pro. I got it off Etsy if anyone is interested, not affiliated, but I do recommend it. It is really good. And these are what the finished bars look like, and I'm really pleased with these. When I do release bars for sale, and hopefully this one will be included, these will be a slightly bigger size because I'll be using my bigger mould to do them. But this is them all finished. I think they look really lovely, really simple. These could stand to have a design because the batter performed so well, but we'll see when I do the final bars to release in my launch. But as a tester bar, really like them. And now I think let's try the orange blend one. Now this was definitely taken out a bit too soon again. I'd leave this a little bit more before cutting, but I was desperate to see what they were like. A little bit dark on the top, I don't know if that will change. I don't know if the whole bar will go a bit darker, but right now the inside looks about the colour I was going for, so we'll see what happens with that over the course of 4 weeks. And again, this cuts through really lovely, and I was really pleased with the finished bars of this. The scent has come through incredibly well with this, so I'm so pleased. It was well worth doing some experimenting with this. And again, the finished bars, should I sell them? The design may change, not sure, but they'll definitely get a bit bigger because yeah, we like a bigger soap. So yeah, very pleased overall. The making process, it does take a while to like trial and error with these soaps and these fragrances and getting a design you're happy with and everything, but once you do, it's well worth it. And I'm looking forward to releasing my first proper range of soaps, hopefully sometime soon. Here they are, all finished, curing for 4 weeks, and yeah, we'll see what comes of it. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to check out my series on product launching, which I released the first one of the other day. There'll be more to come as I do the steps in the process. Thank you to everyone that subscribed, left a comment, liked. Thank you to my patrons, especially my VIP patrons listed here. And if you want to join my Patreon, that's linked below. And that's all I'm supposed to say, isn't it? I'll see you in the next one.